Hey everybody, this week from the Distortion Den, my buddy Deke is back, and we're going to talk all things Rat and Stephen Pearcy. So let's get to it. Hey everybody, it's the Snowman with TooLoudTooOldMusic.com. Welcome back to the collection. This week we're talking Rat, and I figured if I'm going to talk Rat, I'm going to have one person that I know loves Rat as much as I do, and that is Deke. So welcome Deke from the Distortion Den. Hey Deke.
Hey, it's always good to be back here, Snowman. Thanks for
Thank
asking.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know we've talked Rat on your show before many years ago,
Great.
and it's time for my show to do it. So I figured why not have you on here? Because we both got into them early and pretty much
Mhm.
have everything, most everything they've put out. So
Most.
most, yeah, I'm still missing a couple things here or there. So
And we need
um,
to do it. We need to do a new update show, basically.
yes, yes, yeah, because we got stuff here. We're gonna talk more than just Rat. We're gonna
Mhm.
go a little further. We're gonna talk some Stephen Pearcy stuff. Since Rat's not putting stuff out, so might as well talk his stuff as well. And hopefully
You
with
got it.
him and Warren playing, maybe they'll put something out that's doesn't have to be Rat. It can be whatever they want to call it. But it'd be nice if they put something out together, since they're touring and stuff. So they're at least talking again. So that's good. But we'll see how that whatever comes of that. All right. Well, we'll go all the way back to the beginning. Well, maybe not the beginning just yet, but we'll go to the start with the EP, which came
Mhm.
out on August 23rd, 1983. And I have here. Now, mine is the reissue. So this came out, they reissued this after Out of the Cellar, but there are originals, and I think you have an original. Oh, okay.
One more.
Oh, you have the other. Okay, there it is. I knew you had the
There it is.
original. There it is. You have one, that one has one less song, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I want to say, is it Back for More? Might be, is Back for More on both of them?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. There
they're
is a, I
actually.
was,
It's my pressing is the same track listing on both.
oh, okay. I was thinking the original version had a one less track. Maybe I was wrong on that. So, um, but yeah, what do you think about this one? Because I think, I think it's fantastic. Um, it's rough, it's raw, it's not as well
Mhm.
produced as the Bow Hill stuff we're going to get to in a second. Uh, but man, I don't know, it's tough sounding. Um, anything you have to add on that?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, tough street rock. I mean, when Sweet Cheater kicks in, it's like,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not messing about, and it's just a real kick-ass killer EP. I
Yeah.
mean, you got it. The version of "Tell the World" that's a good song. I'm sorry, the version of "Back for More" I actually prefer the EP version as
Okay.
opposed to the Out of the Cellar one. They both are good. We can discuss that when we get to that record. But you know what? To kick off Rat's career in the '80s with an EP that good, wow! You know,
Yeah, you knew they were destined for something. So,
totally.
yeah. And the legs on the cover are the great Tawny Katane, if
Yep.
that's how you pronounce it. And she shows up again for the cover of their debut album, Out of the Cellar, which came out on February 17th, 1984. And I'll be honest, it changed me forever. Which, yeah, the album's great, but it's the music itself, the style. I think from that point on, I became like a hair metal, glam rock fool for that time. That's what I love. That's what I went to. I saw these guys in concert. It was just that was the album I think that kind of, I mean, Def Leppard, of course, did a year earlier, but Def Leppard's not really hair metal. Um, but I think it was Rat that kind of really got me down the road of getting into all those bands kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, they were really on a trajectory of just going. And when I listen to Out of the Cellar now in 2025, even with the reissue from last year with the unreleased track Reach for the Sky, um, you just realize, yeah, there we go. Of course the snowman would have it. Of
yeah,
course. And but you could just tell they just went on that huge rocket ride. I mean, they got Bo Hill in, and he polished up a few things on the record, but you know what? That record still sounds super fantastic this day and age. And you know what? To me, it's almost like they weren't all singles, but to me, it's almost a Rat greatest hits record.
yeah, it really is
I
because
mean,
even the deep cuts. I mean, some of the deep cuts I think I like more than the singles. Um, but yeah, and you mentioned Back for More on the EP. There's a big difference for me on those two songs because on the EP there's this bass that goes boing boing, this little boink sound that's in it that really
yeah,
distracts me on the EP version. But here they clean that up, they take that out and they don't use that part, and it changes the song a little bit.
true.
But
Remember
I
you
do,
remember you bringing that up when you hopped on my show and you
yeah.
said that, and I went, really? And then I listened to it and I'm like, oh, why did he tell me that?
Now you
Now I
can't
hear it all.
unhear it.
Now you reminded me of it again.
Yeah.
Why I
So here's the reissue. I've got the lenticular cover, which
nice.
that, and it came with that single that I showed you, which the Reach for the Sky single, which is, it's on the CD. Now, the CD, if you get the reissue CD, which
Hmm.
amazingly I have, it's actually on there as well. So you get that, and they did a nice little version that's got the lenticular cover as well for the CD. Um, so yeah, I have a problem having to buy the vinyl and the CD. And look at the vinyl. Look at that
Yeah,
for the reissue. So
that's a nice ladder.
yeah, they really did a good job on this reissue for this one. The sound's great. Um, just a really, really good job. And I do actually have the single for Round and Round.
Well, there we
So
go.
yeah.
Morning after.
And
Nice.
man, and I have to say, it's for being as old as it is, it's in wonderful, wonderful shape. So I have to
And that's
take,
the thing.
take
I got Out of the Cellar. Where am I pointing here? Right back there, you can see my box sets. There's the Rat box set with
yeah,
came with other '80s output, but I ended up buying the CD reissue of Out of the Cellar for Reach for the Sky. I just could not buy another vinyl
vinyl.
copy of
Yeah,
Out of the Cellar. But I have to say that they were all right out of the gate talented musicians. They wrote all their own tunes at this point. They went four singles deep on this record.
yep,
There's, like I said earlier, no duds. Even Reach for the Sky was a great leftover track that sat buried for 4 decades.
yeah,
Um, and they kind of found a formula to stick with this sound, which kind of goes right into the next album,
yeah.
Invasion of
The
Your
next one.
Privacy.
Before we'll jump into that, here's my cassette. The next one is Invasion of the
Yeah.
Privacy. And yeah, Bo Hill's back on the boards. Everybody's back. The album came out on May 30th, 1985, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so this album is basically it's round two of Out of the Cellar. And what I have my vinyl, I actually still have this order
Oh, cool.
form for the video that you could get. Rat the video. I wonder if I could send this in and still get anything. Uh,
Somebody will take your money. I don't know if
Someone
you'll
will
get it,
definitely
but
take the money. And then there's the vinyl, um, just on the old Atlantic Records. Uh, and then I'll show the single for Lay It Down. Flip
Cool.
side is Got Me on the Line. That's the only single I have from that album. But yeah, Invasion of Your Privacy. Yeah, they just killed it again. Um, I think my only downfall of it is 2.0 for Out of the Cellar. There's no real change in direction. It's just basically they just continue doing what they were doing. But the songs are fantastic. And I know you like this one more, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
do, and yeah, that's true. And but then they did the reissue of Out of the Cellar, and it's like, holy crap, like this is so So then I'm flip flopping between the two. But at that time in '85 when this dropped, I mean, we were in grade 13, so we're all like right into the. I mean, it wasn't called hair metal at the time; it was just
Right.
called
Rock.
hard
Hard
rock or
rock. Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Right? But man, when you hear that opening DeMartini riff of "You're in Love,"
Yeah.
and to lay it down, and then when this songs like "Never Use Love" and "Got Me on the Line" and "Dangerous but Worth the Risk," and I even like how they booked in what is it, "Closer to the Heart," and then you flip over the record and it's "Between the Eyes." I kind of like that sync job. I know everybody wants to you come out guns a blazing, but "Between the Eyes," I liked how that one was a slow builder. And that's what I find about some of these Rat records is there's some damn fine gems
Yeah.
on side two of their records. And yeah, same thing. Like you mentioned, they stuck with the formula. I see your point with it being a bit like 2.0, but to me, it wasn't an obvious 2.0 like ZZ Top going from Eliminator into Afterburner. It's like
Yeah.
they just kept the
That
machine.
one's more so.
They
Yeah.
just kept the. It's like they just kept the drum machine in and told Frank Beard to stay home. And hey, we got this. I got
Yeah.
another batch. So I see what you're saying, but I guess when your debut major release record Out of the Cellar goes triple platinum, you kind of want to keep that money train moving along.
You do.
So
Yeah.
and I think that's why they basically stuck with the same format. But yeah, there are times when this is my favorite record in
Yeah.
a Rat collection, but there might be other surprises. I don't want to give it all away yet.
Well, that sounds good. All right. And at this point, they were doing an album a year. And
Yep.
so now we jump to September 24th, 1986, and we get Dancing Undercover. Great
Yep.
album cover. I love the back picture. Great shot of the boys on the front. Um, Basically, this is just a repeat of the album cover, just changed up a little. The album vinyl, still the old Atlantic Records, typical. Um, yeah, I mean, they changed things up a little bit on this one. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why I really like it. I mean, Dance is the opening track. You hear that one, and yeah, it's got a little more pop into it. Um, but yeah, you can definitely tell there's a different sound coming with this one.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, just solid, solid tracks too, because I really like Looking for Love, um, Drive Me Crazy, Slip of the Lip, Body Talk. Man, that guitar
Yeah.
work on Body Talk, that fast energy, I mean, it's just ripping on that one. And so I was, like I said, I was slightly disappointed, in the last one, but I still loved it. But this brought me back, and I was like, all right, good, something a little bit different, and I kind of like that. So,
Yeah, they made a little more of a rough around the edges sounding album. It's not as polished. I hate to use the word polish, but
but
it's
yeah,
not as polished as the first two. So it's like they almost went to try to go back to almost a little rawness, similar to their sound on the EP. I
yeah.
find not that raw because obviously when you're making millions, the record company is going to say, no, 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 we want to make money,
We got to
boys.
clean up that piece. Yeah,
And this album, I mean, it took them, they were headlining arenas. I mean, they had their opening acts that tour, which you saw, or either at various points was Poison, Cinderella, Cheap Trick, Queensryche, even the crazy Vinnie Vincent invasion. Uh, like I said, this album is another one. Like this is the third album in a row where I would say Rat for me as a fan. There are no skippers on it, no
nope.
duds. Um, And as I mentioned with Invasion, and even the first record, I also like the songs on the second side. I mean, when you end side one with Body Talk, I mean, you're thinking, I hope I hope this consistency stays the same, and it did. I
Yeah.
mean, looking for love. I love that sleazy drawl beat to Seventh Avenue, super catchy chorus. I mean, it just slinks along and it just kind of grabs you, and it doesn't matter. Even the last song, "Enough Is Enough." I mean, a lot of great songs. But my good friend out there, T Bone, I remember back in the day when we bought it. And then a day later, I saw him. I said, "Hey, what do you think of Dancing Undercover?" He says, "Sounds unfinished to me." And I was like, "What does he mean? What do you mean by that?" But I think he just preferred the sound of the first two
Yeah.
records. And I'll have to hit him up and ask him to re-listen to it and see what he thinks in 2025. And if he says it still sounds unfinished, I'll just yell at him.
Yeah, that's fine. He needs to be yelled at. Yeah.
So
So,
very good record, very
yeah,
good.
I think so too. All right. Then we do skip a year. So it's October 24th, 1988. We
Mm-hmm.
get the next one, Reach for the Sky. So this one's definitely a different cover. It's kind of what Salvador Dali, is that who I'm thinking? Maybe Dali-esque. I
Yeah,
don't know. I do love the insert for that. Um, and again, the Atlantic record label. Um,
yeah, you got to love that Atlantic record label. That's so cool. That's
yeah,
iconic.
it's iconic. Yeah, yeah, I like that one. All right, Reach for the Sky. Very, very different. Again, they seem to change it up a little bit. I do have, I think, was it Golden Child? Or was that Body Talk was Golden Child, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That movie, yeah. Okay. Well, the single that they had, Way Cool Junior, I actually have the cassette single
Oh
of it.
wow.
Yeah, I found it
Ah,
out a few years back. It was like a buck. And I was like, oh, I have to have that.
nice. What's on the flip side?
The flip side is Chain Reaction. So,
Ah, great track.
yeah. So, so this one, yeah, a little bit different. I liked and you can tell again, the first song is a good indicator of what the album's going to sound like. City to City was very different. But the next two songs, I Want a Woman and Way Cool Junior, man, just killer tracks. Um, yeah, I mean, I just love that part. Then chain it flips over, you get Chain Reaction on the flip side. What's it gonna be? What I'm After, some great songs. Now, I didn't like all of it this time, but there was definitely more tracks that were good than not good. Um, and it was definitely a different sounding band. I don't know if they were trying to change things up or if it was just they were more mature, or I'm not really sure what the right word I'm looking for on that one.
Yeah, because didn't they start? I have to mention that I think you got this book as well. Anybody's
Oh,
looking for it.
yeah.
And World Infestation, the Rat story, written by Greg Prado. He did a very good job on it. And, I think Mike Stone was the original producer. Like they were going to shift away from Bow Hill.
Yeah.
And then stuff wasn't happening with them. And the record company, I think, forced their hand and said, you got to bring Bow Hill back. And, the Rat guys, I think, were pissed off about it. But I mean, you have a formula working and you're making money. The record company's making money. You got mansions and bills and wives and ex-wives to pay. I guess you got to keep that money train flowing, right?
Right.
But like you, I agree totally with what you said. But I just found that when this record came out, there was so much music in '88. Like you had the albums from '87 that were selling, like Whitesnake, Def Leppard, Hysteria,
Guns N' Roses.
Got Roses, Appetite. They were still selling massive amounts in a
Oh
year
yeah, this
later.
kind of got overshadowed a lot.
Got
Yeah.
overshadowed by Poison. Um, who else? And for me personally, like Iron Maiden was a big release in 1988 with Seventh Son. Dokken had Back for the Attack in '87 and
Yep.
their live Beast East. So it was like some of these songs are really good and some of them are okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the opener, City to City, I Want a Woman, and one of the ultimate DeMartini riffs at the beginning of Way Cool Jr. I mean, shit, Johnny, does it get it? It doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Yeah, just
Um,
so bluesy. Just
yeah, so bluesy, and It's just got a good funk groove. I have to say, that was the thing with Ratt is you never read about that they had ghost musicians on their record. This guy
No.
wasn't cutting it. So we had to bring this drummer guy in, or DeMartini was having issues and we had to replace a solo with this guy or what you it's like they kept everything in house. They had a real fantastic lead guitarist and everybody else pulled their weight on the drums, bass, and guitar and the vocals. I mean, you can say what you want about Percy.
Oh
I
yeah.
think vocals are good for the style of music that he was doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like Chain Reaction. Bottom Line was a good tune. I was surprised that they never really tried to push What's It Gonna Be as a single.
I
I
know, because
mean, to
that's
me,
one of my
that
favorite songs on the album. Yeah.
so a good album, and I actually probably like it more now, or I appreciate it more now in 2025 than I did in '88 because they're just so swamped with
Yeah.
music and keeping. And if something didn't really grab you or grab me right at the time, I wouldn't dismiss it, but it wouldn't get on the turntable as much.
Right.
So, solid
No.
attempt though, and it still sold well.
Yeah. I do agree because I do remember listening to it, but not as much as I did the other stuff back then. I do like
Mm,
it more now. Um,
yeah.
but I think I like all their stuff more now. Even the ones we're going to get to that were from the 90s that were just like, I kind of like them. So, all right. Next, we're in 1990 now. August
Hmm.
21st came Detonator. This
Hmm.
one, very, very different in the respects that you have a completely different producer and writer with Desmond Child taking control. Again, the
Yep.
Atlantic record label. Um, however, I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite album because it's just so freaking catchy. Um, so many great hooks. I mean, Desmond Child knows how to do the hooks and do the stuff, but it's still rough and but it is overly produced. I'm going to tell you that it is overly produced, but I still really like the song. It's got the songs. And to me, it's all about
Yep.
the songs. So, with what shame, 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 loving you's a dirty job, loving you's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. I have the single for that one. And what's it going to be is the B side to that. Yeah, just this thing to me from beginning to end is awesome. I don't ever skip a track on this one at all. And I know I'm probably in the minority on this album, but I'm okay with that because I get into all the songs with Scratch That Itch, One Step Away, All or Nothing, Giving Yourself Away, and then Top Secret. It's just this, for me, it's just a solid album and should be listened to by a lot of people. So,
You know, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said, and it also depends on like where you were at the time of 1990. When that album came out, it just hits you at a certain time, just like
yeah.
how Invasion hit me at a certain time. And thinking, wow, like I like this better than the debut, and that was my line of thinking through all these years. But Johnny, if you were to say from the years 1980 to 1990 on LA bands and only LA bands, I think you're starting to see a pattern here that each Ratt record was very consistent. And I think
Yeah.
they were the best LA band to come out of that era with more than one record. So, and Van Halen came out in '78, so I don't want everybody freaking out saying Van
No,
Halen's the best.
Van Halen's a
They're
totally different band. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
came they had three records out by basically 1980. So there's Van Halen and then there's everybody else. But
Yeah.
if you're just to take great bands that started releasing records in '80 to '90, Ratt I think is at the top of the heap. They're to me they're ahead of Crew, they're ahead of Dawkins. Um,
I'm going to agree because
every
I'm Crew's first two albums can't beat them.
yeah.
But Home Sweet Home or Theater of Pain hated it. There were some not good albums with Crew, not with Rat.
Well, we'll have to do a show on that.
We should. We should.
Good. Come
we
over to
we
my
could
channel. Do a
we could
show on
talk a
that.
lot about that one. As
But
far as Detonator, CD
Cool.
and cassette because, like I said, it's my favorite, so I had to have them all. Yeah.
And and I agree. I mean, I see what they were doing. They got Desmond Child to kick some life into maybe getting some singles out. I mean, how in on God's green earth, when you get a guy like John Bon Jovi to come on your song, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, who's basically the biggest arena act at that time, coming off New Jersey, and you don't put it out as a single.
I know.
Like that just it was like opportunity missed. I think sometimes these record companies should have had us doing the A&R and say put that out as a single.
Yeah.
So I think they missed the boat on the singles, and I think that's probably why the record didn't do as well, and people don't talk about it as much. Still a great record for me personally. I think my favorite song on there is "Hard Time."
No.
I just love how DeMartini just carries basically a solo for the 3.5 minutes right through the whole song. But it's not like, oh my God, he's,
Yeah.
like fits the song and it fits the vibe that they're doing. Even Giving Yourself Away and One Step Away, they should have done better as singles. I love Scratch That Itch.
Yeah.
You know, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, Shame, Shame. It's all good. To me, I know you said it's like overproduced, but maybe those first two records out of the Cellar and Invasion of Your Privacy at times, they might have been a little overproduced too because it's really glossy
Yeah.
sound. But you know what? Nothing wrong with Detonator. Nothing
No.
wrong at all with it.
So now, if anybody wants to go out and buy those first five albums, you can get these little box sets.
Yeah.
There's the first five albums here. This is Ratt, the early years, the Atlantic years. I see the one behind you on over your shoulder on for vinyl. So yeah, you can get these, and you can get all the first five albums, and that is the classic era of
Yeah.
Ratt. And if you don't want that, then go out and get Rat and Roll from 81 to 91, and you're going to get everything that we've just mentioned. There's 19 tracks on this thing. It's got a couple extras. What Nobody Rides for Free? That's from that Point Break movie, right?
Yeah.
And Tell the World, which at that point, if you didn't have the EP, you didn't really know about that one. So yeah, good greatest hits compilation. This covers a very comprehensive coverage of the first decade of Rat, if you want to get one. And that one came out April 6th, 1991. So that's the toot the horn to so go support the band.
Yeah. Speaking of tooting the horn, like how brilliant of a track is Nobody Rides for Free?
Yeah.
I mean, that is another DeMartini classic tune. I
And to
mean,
think that's the song that didn't make an album.
yeah, like how does that not make the record? I
Yeah.
remember seeing the movie and going, what? Like when they played it, I think in the end credits or something, and it was like, I stuck around for the end credits just to hear the Rat song.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's fun. I'm not big into greatest hits, as you know, but for a compilation set, that 81 to 91 is put together pretty cool. So, but to tack on Nobody Rides for Free, and if anybody buys the vinyl box set that's over my shoulder, you get a 45 of it included in the box set if Nobody Rides for Free on both sides.
Yeah.
So finally
Yeah,
got a copy of it.
I wanted to buy that, but it's like I have them all on vinyl already. So it's
Yeah.
like, do I really want that one single? It was a tough choice because I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff and I would usually buy it, but I do have that on other things. And like I said, it was hard enough getting Detonator, an original copy of Detonator. So, because that one's a hard one to come by. So,
Absolutely.
but Rat disappeared for a little while. They were Robin Crosby sadly passed away. Well, I forget when he did, but the band was not really together for a little while. But then they
No.
did pop back up on the scene, and I completely and utterly missed it. Didn't know it was out. And this was July 22nd, 1997. And this is Collage. And you have the vinyl on that. So
Yes, sir.
that is awesome. Mine is the Japanese pressing of Collage. So there is a bonus track, except right off the top of my head, I can't think of it. And I would look it up on this, but it's in Japanese, and I can't read Japanese.
Not yet.
Not yet. But what do you think of this one? This is really just a collection of demos or something, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
I
there's some
think
older
they,
songs from older,
yeah,
early Rat that they put on here. Mother Blues, Steel River's really great. Dr. Rock is awesome. I like Rap Madness. It's got the original version of Top Secret, and then it's got like a remix version of Lovin' You's a Dirty Job, which completely and utterly sucks. But I didn't say
yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, there's still some great stuff on here. Very rough, very raw. I can see why, it probably went by the wayside because in '97 I wasn't looking to see a Rat album or expecting to see a Rat album. But yeah, now that I have it years later, I love it and I actually enjoy listening to it every now and again.
I do actually, I do spin it probably more often than not. I mean, like yourself, I love Steel River, Dr. Rock, Diamond Time Again, Rat Madness. I really like the last song on side one, which is Hold Tight. That's another fantastic E Martini, just soloing away, but he's playing like almost like hard blues rock,
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I loved about his playing, or I still love about his playing, is he's not a guitar shredder. Like he's not playing a cajillion million notes like how he played his guitars in Hard Times from Detonator, how his guitars in Hold Tight. I mean, I just love that kind of playing where I'm not a guitar player, but I can appreciate what he's doing because it just enhances the song.
Yeah, he's more about
Yeah,
the
I agree
riff.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with you. I mean, why there's a phonic mix LP version of Loving You on this record.
Yeah.
This is there is nothing wrong with this record except that
That
one
that
at
one
the end.
track.
Just push eject. It's
Yeah.
all good. But you know what? At that time, Johnny, um, I was just happy to see that they were back.
Yeah.
With I don't think Juan was part of them anymore. I think he was probably on the outs with them at that point, I believe.
I
Or
believe so, yeah. It's because it's produced by Warren and Steven.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think it wasn't the full Rat, which is okay. Um, I mean, because for me, it's always been Warren and Steven vocals, so it's that
yeah,
sound together. Which not nothing against the other guys. I mean, I think Bobby Blotzer is a great drummer. Um, so
yep. And and Crosby on those early Rat albums. I mean, before
yeah,
Addiction unfortunately got away, he was a big contributor to a lot of
he was. Yeah,
songs, classic Rat tracks. I mean, I think he should be mentioned that he was right up there. But I think as the '80s progressed, because if you look on the first couple of records,
he's on it a lot more.
it's
Yeah,
he's playing lead guitar on a couple of tracks, and I think probably by Detonator, yeah, I think from what I read in Greg's book, I really don't think he was doing that much guitar. I think it was basically Warren doing all the guitars,
yeah,
definitely all the leads. So
yeah.
it's too bad, but that happens at times. But
It does.
Collage, good
Sadly.
record, man.
So
Yeah,
then we get a studio album from them, simply titled Rat. This one came out, where did it come out? July 6th, 1999. So what a great year to end the millennium. I like the cover. I like the CD. And I think if the Japanese version or something, there's a different version of this with
mm-hmm.
that CD cover as the cover of the album. Uh, Now this one, again, you can see it's only four guys, um,
Yeah,
and it's not everybody. But and wow, they look really 90s, don't they? They're
yeah. It's
not the
like
hair guys.
they're not glammed up. That's for sure.
No. But it's as a studio album go, it's not a bad one. Um, there are, it's not my favorite album. It's probably the one I go to maybe the least. Um,
Right?
but again, there's some good songs on here. You got Over the Edge, Live for Today, We Don't Belong. I mean, some good tracks. Um,
Yep.
but it just was, I don't know, it was lacking something. I don't know if it was production or just the Rat oomph that we were used to hearing. It just was lacking a little bit of something.
Yeah, and, times change, people change. Uh, and they're putting out an album 9 years removed from Detonator, and in the music world, that's a
That's a
lot of time away.
that's forever.
And
Yeah.
you know, like for a lot of people, they're gonna listen to Ratt. They're going back to the '80s stuff, probably preferably the first couple of records or even the compilations
Yeah.
that are now all over the place, right? And whatnot. But it had some good stuff on it. I mean, it's another album with No One.
Yeah.
And vocally, he was a pretty big vocal part of those '80s Ratt records. So we can't really, diminish his
Contra.
place because he had a bit of a sound like Michael Anthony did with the Van Halen backing
Right.
vocals, right? Um, I like Over the Edge on it. Lovesick, Dead Reckoning. I thought was a pretty cool track.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff, but Johnny, if I go listen to Ratt, I would play Collage before I play this one, and it's just you know
Well, because
my
Collage is more of the old Rat. And
yeah,
so
and
that's
that
kind of why. Yeah.
and I'm tripping on nostalgia right there.
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of compilations, before we get to the next one, this was thrown in sometime in 2003. We got this
Right?
Rat Metal Hits. This is just a cheap little money grab. 10
Yeah,
tracks, all from the first five albums. Not bad tracks. I mean, it's got the hits, or some, 10 of the hits. But it's like one of those I'd never seen before and got it cheap. It's like, all right, I'll add it to the collection. What the heck? Why not?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why I got that one. But then it was 99 for the Rat album. And then we went, what, 11 years till April 20th, 2010 before we got the next and final studio album, Infestation. This is a band that decided, you know what? Let's go back and sound like we did in the 80s. And man, they captured every essence of that on this album. Just a killer album, totally unexpected. Yeah, if you would have asked me in 2010 if Rat was going to make an album that sounded like the Rat we grew up with, I'd say no way. They did. And I find this one to be awesome. I listen to this one a lot. I really do like that. Eat Me Up Alive is the opening track. A little too much. I mean, the way they have the words, I can't really
Yeah.
read it. But yeah, this is just pure 80s sounding Rat in 2010. So very welcomed, very hard to come by. If you want,
Yeah,
like on vinyl, is extremely hard to get, and if you find one, it's really, really expensive, which is why
yeah.
I'm not showing a vinyl for that one. So, did you get this one?
I did, but I back at the time with three young kids, I had it on iTunes for the
Yeah,
cost, right? So, but yeah, it is a good throwback, and Best of Me was a great track. Look Out Below, Last Call, Take a Big Bite. I like that one, but the real track I really think is one of the best Rat tracks on it is Scatter.
oh, yeah.
I know that's a bonus one, and that was an iTunes bonus, and now everybody be saying iTunes, digital, blah blah. But you know what? That track should have been on there, the regular
It really
release
should.
as far as concerned. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny, but I think Carlos Cavazo was on there on guitar,
Yes.
and another album with No One,
Right.
No One Tonight, and you know, very good album. I think I'm just surprised that they've never really tried making it a reissue. I know my buddy Pete bought this on a European import on vinyl, so you can get it, but not kind of get it if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it is out there, but yeah, and I also love that color scheme of the cover and the
Yeah.
back cover.
No, it's really, really great job. Um,
Yeah,
but sadly, that is the last studio album that we have from them. But it's not the last Rat album because recently we got this thing called Rarities, which is mainly it was all because of Stephen Pearcy. He was basically contributed with the record company, and we get some old studio tracks. Tell the World. We get a rehearsal of Round and Round from 1982, pre-album.
Hmm.
The demos for I Want It All, and then a bunch of live tracks. In Your Direction from 87, Round and Round, Body Talk. And Body Talk, I don't think is even a full version. I think it just cuts out at the end. Drive Me Crazy. And then from 1985, Live, Wanted Man. And then Love on the Rocks is the song that's on here that I don't think we'd ever heard before. From
Hmm.
1989, it's a demo. It's a really great song. Um, this is just a cheap little compilation. Um, but it's stuff we haven't heard before and it's rare stuff. So it's one I had to have. I love the red vinyl. And then, of course, I had to have the CD as well, um,
Cool.
because that's just as bad. That's the problem and the sickness that I have. Because Rat's one of my favorites, so I try to get every version that I can come across and stuff. So, uh, but so I know you don't have that one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
No, I decide, I would love to hear an actual real live Rat album,
Yeah, that is
and
strange that we do not have that. And I know it's Piercy's vocals aren't always the greatest live, but that's okay. I saw him live. I thought it was, if we could get a show from the 80s live, he's going to sound great. So,
my buddy Chris, who runs the Vinyl Frontier here in Thunder Bay, he actually has a double live Rat album. Which when I came across it in his bins, I was like, "Whoa!" Like it's from I think it's either the Invasion tour or the Dancing Undercover tour. I can't remember, but I asked him. I said, "How's the sound?" He says, "I haven't heard it," and there was no mention of soundboard or anything. So I YouTubed it, and it's an audience one. It sounds pretty good, but I just couldn't drop the cash
yeah,
for an audience recording. But if I would have had a little more soundboard quality to it, oh, I would have been all over it for sure. But
yeah.
um,
Sometimes I don't mind an audience recording because you
mm,
pick up the fan noise, the crowd noise a little bit more than with a soundboard. And sometimes you can capture the energy of that concert better on an audience recording than you can through a soundboard. Unless they're miking the audience, the soundboard's not going to pick it up as much.
yeah.
That's just my little 2 cents. That I don't. Sometimes I do like an audience recording. It's got to be done well.
Yeah,
But
and my thing is, I just don't want to be listening to Round and Round, and then you have somebody, some Yahoo in the audience going, rah, rah, and be like,
yeah, I do have a
oh,
few Kiss ones that you can hear
yeah,
people in the back talking and stuff. So, um, all right, now that is all the rat stuff. The
that's it.
rat stuff
Rat.
that I have and that we have. I do have this thing that came out. Um, it's a Mickey Rat. It's featuring
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Pearcy. It's got George Lynch and Tracy Guns on these recordings. This is early Rat, pre-Rat when they were called Mickey Rat. So you do get a lot of songs you're going to recognize: "Round and Round," "Sweet Cheater," "Lack of Communication," "Lay It Down," "You're in Love," "Back for More," "I'm Insane." Um, there's one, two, three, four, five songs with George Lynch on guitar, and then there are two songs that have Tracy Guns as lead guitar. So these are all songs that ended up on the first couple albums, but they had been written and done prior to Rat being who they were
Right.
at the end. So really cool thing to pick up. Sound quality's fine, and I don't know what it is with red vinyl and Rat, but more red vinyl for Rat. Um, I think it's really a cool little thing to have because just to get songs that are predate the Rat stuff that we have, and a different guitar sound too when you've got someone like George Lynch and Tracy Guns doing the guitars. Really cool thing, a little extra. You can get that. That came out within the last. Oh, actually, it came out in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been out a while. They're out there
Yeah.
if you come across them. And I think I forget where I was flipping through and saw that, and I don't know, it was 20, $25. I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it. So,
I
um,
think I've seen that. Dreams. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
Uh,
Um, but still, George Lynch, Tracy Guns, different sound. I'll take it.
yeah.
Now, like I said, Rat didn't release anything else. So if you wanted to hear Stephen Pearcy, you had to hear his side projects or
Yep.
his solo stuff. We'll start with his side project, the first one that came out, and that is Arcade. And you have the vinyl, you suck. I would
Yeah,
love
I
that
do.
one.
In a good way.
Yeah. So this Arcade came out in 1993.
Yeah.
Um, this is a heavier sounding, grungier. I mean, it's not grunge, but it's definitely a dirtier rock. I would think
Mhm.
it doesn't have that same melodic. It's not as melodic as Rat, but there still is a little bit of that in there. What do you think of this side project?
Well, 1993, everybody's losing record deals. Stephen Pearcy and Fred Corey from Cinderella,
So,
they get a record deal with Epic Records.
yeah,
I mean, who
who did
who out of
that?
that whole genre from the 80s actually got a record deal in 93?
Yeah,
Stephen Pearcy did. I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing. And you know what, Johnny? I love this record.
yes.
You know, Dancing with the Angels, Nothing to Lose, Calm Before the Storm, Cry No More. Those first four songs are right up there with the first four songs on more than a few Rat records, I could
Yeah,
say. Like they're stellar. I mean, Steven even did some co-writes on here with Jim Valance of
yeah.
Ryan Adams
Forgot about that.
fame.
I forgot about that.
And, it's such a classic record. Like he shifted gears. Like he didn't go grunge on this. Like he
Yeah,
just kind of stayed rock, but like you said, a little more tougher sound, a little more grittier, a bit of a bite to it.
yeah.
But you know what? Nothing wrong with this Arcade record. I even the second side, Messed Up World, All Shook Up, even the ballad, So Good, So Bad. I mean, nobody was buying those kind of ballads in '93, but you know what? He was still sticking to. He knew what his style was,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And yeah, I loved it. A buddy of mine actually caught them opening for Bon Jovi on that
Oh, wow.
tour, and they just played songs off this record. They did no Rat.
That's the way it should have been back then. Yeah,
Yeah, so
just really. And to follow it up, they did another album a year later. We get
yeah,
A2. Um,
A2.
I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first. What is that one?
This is
Oh, that's the
A2,
same
but
one.
it is the same one. But I had when Steven came to town, I had him autograph it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, you just had the
Yeah,
color cover flipped. Okay,
yeah.
so
Because he asked me, he's a super cool. Just do a little sidebar. He was a super cool guy to meet,
yeah,
and back then there was no paid meet and greets. They just said, "Hey, if you want to meet Steven after the show, blah blah, go stand in line." Had a few minutes with him, and he signed the Ratt EP, and I brought my arcade stuff and whatnot. But he was a cool guy. He just asked me. He says, "Hey, do you want me to put your name on it?" I said, I told him I'm not reselling this, so mark my name on both the records.
yeah, yeah. It's
Derek,
not like we're not out there to make money off it.
not
We just to
a
us that's just
reseller.
cool. Just so,
Yeah, he was a super cool guy, and I think his guitar player Frankie Wilsix signed the disc at the time. But the second album's good. A little more of a different sound than
hmm
the first Arcade, but on this record, it is. I just want to get the title right. Track 8, end of the album, Jen, Chain to Me,
Shame to me.
just
Yeah,
so good. Like that's old school Rat almost to me, and a lot of good stuff on here. But you know what? After this record, the ship had sailed for Arcade. Unfortunately, they just kind of
yeah. Sadly, that
wa-
was it. That was
they
it.
wavered. You know, they
And
lost
so
the momentum. But hey, good on him. He had a record deal.
yeah, got a couple albums out of it. And then after
Got
that,
it.
eventually it's just him doing solo stuff. And there's quite a
Yeah,
few solo albums and things out there. I don't have a ton, but we'll go through the four that I do have. The first one I
sure.
have kind of it's in rough looking shape, but it's got all these stickers. I didn't want to take it out, but this is stripped. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this
Oh,
is
cool.
basically A lot of the Rat stuff just acoustically. And I have to say, it's actually it was recorded live and acoustic at the Key Club on Sunset Strip on March 27th, 2006. The album came out in 2006, so they put it out at the same time. He sounds really good. You get Lovin' You's a Dirty Job, you get Way Cool Jr., Mother Blues, which I really do love. The more I hear that song, the more I like it. And then a couple I wasn't sure of. Oh, well, I don't really know that one or didn't know that one. But it's got Bring It On Home, Wanted Man, Round and Round is what the ends with. It's not a bad little thing. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but at the time, 2006, if you're like, oh, I'll take it, it's something because they weren't putting out anything else.
No,
Um, then in 2017, I got back into Steven again and I picked up Smash. I thought this thing was fantastic. Um,
yeah,
there's just, I know I'm crazy. Dead Roses, Lollipop. Man, what do you think? Want Too Much? I mean, just some great. This is kind of just, if you're not going to get any Rat albums in 2017, this is as close as you're going to get. Um, and I just thought he did a really bang up job with it. And I like the vinyl. It's not red, it's just plain black. So nothing fancy, but nice labels. I like the labels with the
yeah.
album cover on there. Um, you heard that one, this one, Smash, right?
That was another one I bought on iTunes, and I streamed it not too long ago, and yeah, it's very good. It's like you said, it's a more of a rat and roll record almost, and 10 Miles Wide is such a killer track. I
Yeah.
mean, that's he nailed it out of the park on a bunch of songs on that record, and you know, and good on Steven. I mean, yeah, people can say what they want to say about him nowadays, like singing live and stuff. You can't knock the guy's work ethic.
Right. He
I mean, he's
works.
been consistent now for what, 42, 43 years, ever since the EP came out back in 83. And, and right into the arcade stuff, into the solo stuff, putting out music. I mean, whether you like it or you don't like it
Yeah.
as much, but for
He's
him,
doing it.
you have to respect him for that. And he's
Yeah.
still out there playing the stages, so
Yeah.
good on you, Steve-O.
Yeah. And then a year later, he put out another one. View to a Thrill. Got the whole James Bond vibe on it,
Yeah.
which I liked. Um, this one's there's a gun, so real
Oh,
James
Gatefold.
Bondy. Um,
Yeah.
vinyl's just like I said, just normal black. Putting the album cover on there. It's like I like when they do these covers, but I still like the classic like Atlantic record covers and the
Yeah.
labels that were for the
Yeah.
label and stuff. But yeah, this one it wasn't as good as Smash. I
Mhm.
mean, because to put out an album a year, I mean, he was put out one in 2016 and then 2017 and then 2018. It was like that's a lot of songs to write and come up with.
Yeah.
But yeah, You Only Live Twice was really good, and I liked Sky Falling. Another James Bond kind of sound there. Secrets to Tell. I think there's a theme on here. Not Killing Me. Yeah, uh, some really good songs. I don't think I said it. Not as good as Smash, but still, I think it's worth a listen. It's got some good stuff on there. It's close as we're gonna get to Rad anymore and stuff. You were kind of think agree with me on that it's not.
Yeah, I streamed it. I never bought it in any format. And when we were talking about this, I went back and I spun it on one of my old man rock walks, and it's okay. The
Yeah,
one before it is much better. But like I said, say what you want about the guy, but there you are, two records in 2 years. The work ethic when
yeah,
a lot of
and
guys were just writing the straight nostalgia set list.
yeah.
He wasn't. He was. I mean, sure, he's kind of doing the nostalgia thing now, but can you fault him? These guys are pushing 70.
Yeah,
I
got to pay
mean,
the bills. Got to pay the bills.
pay the bills, man.
Yeah. Now
Got to
there's
pay the
been.
pool boy.
Go ahead.
Got to pay the pool boy.
Yep.
Keep your pool clean.
um, then there was something else that I found out that he had put out, and this was in 2022. It's called Overdrive, and
Oh,
it is
okay.
it's a gatefold, but I still have the plastic on there, so I can't open it. It's basically a greatest hits album
Hmm?
of Stephen Pearcy. Here's the vinyl, and again, that red theme continues to go for them. Not sure why they always do red, but they do. And then I do have the CD as this as well. And there's a
Oh,
reason
cool.
for that. Track listing, look how long that track listing is and how short that one is.
Ah,
The vinyl is strictly first half is arcade greatest hits. The
cool.
second is all Stephen Pearcy songs. The CD, you get the 6 songs of arcade. You get like another 6 or 7 songs of Stephen Pearcy. You get a couple Mickey Ratt songs, and you get 4 Ratt songs. And the 4 Ratt songs that are on here, I think, are the same songs that came on that last Rarities Ratt album. So if you have the Ratt Rarities album, you have those 4 tracks already. But to be honest, I think this thing is killer because it's got, like I said, it's got some of the best arcade songs on here, and then you get some Stephen Pearcy tracks as well. So it's a nice little package. And I would say, there's just another money grab, but you get a lot here for your money if you get the CD.
Cool.
I think the vinyl, they went cheap and didn't want to do a double vinyl. And so they just stuck with the one. But again, that's Stephen Pearcy in arcade. There's not too many arcade greatest hits albums out there. So you
I
get,
found one. I
you
forgot to
found
show you
one.
this one.
Awesome. It was a live album and unreleased.
Yeah. It's got 13 tracks. I think 6 of them are live. Dance with the Angels is live. Living Dangerously is live. Nothing to Lose is a demo from '92. Never Going Home demos. There's a keyboard solo on here from a live thing that goes into So Good, So Bad. I bought this one at the show actually.
Oh, awesome.
But like a dipstick, I didn't ask him to sign it. I don't know. I think I was too psyched out talking to him and I lost track of my
I,
shit, so to speak.
I
So,
did that. I
yeah.
saw Jeff Scott Soto and Jason Bieler perform, and Soto had an album out from his band Slam, and I bought it at the thing. But I had all these album covers that I brought, and I met him out. I met him after the show and talked, and he signed all the album covers. But I'm sitting here holding Slams still sealed. Like, why the hell didn't I just open that up and have him sign that
You
one
just
too?
get lost in the get
Yeah,
lost in your thoughts. But
yeah,
yeah, I picked that. I bought that at the merch table at his show because I'm a sucker for live albums, and
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And it was arcade, so it was
I've got
like,
to now.
whoa.
I have to go find that one because I don't have that one. So
Well,
thanks for
Johnny,
spending my money.
you're welcome, brother.
All right. Well, that is
It's not too often.
everything.
It's not too often the Deke man can pull one on the snowman. So I got you.
No, it happens. It happens. But that's everything I have that's rat
Yeah,
related. Um,
yeah.
is that everything you've got as well? Or
That
you're
is
gonna pull
everything.
out
And
something else?
no, just to go back to this book, I mean, if anybody really wants to, like I mentioned earlier, it's got some good info in there. And I think Greg writes about, I'll just, one quick thing is, if you go back to Dancing Undercover, originally the back cover was supposed to be the front cover. Like it's just that kind of info you find in his kind of books, which is always kind of neat because it kind of makes sense because you could see the Rat logo going across the
Yeah.
back cover, but for some reason they just used,
And
so the
I
front
like the
cover is
back
supposed
cover better. I like that, if I can pull it back out.
I meant to talk about that when you showed the
Yeah, look at
back
that. I
cover.
mean, that would make a great cover.
And
So,
the front cover of that is supposed to be the
the
back
back.
cover.
Okay. Yeah, because
So
right here you just stick the rat logo. It
yeah,
would look great. So,
yeah,
but
that's
so.
all I got.
All right. Well, that is all I have too. So thank you so much for joining us this week. I always love having you on. Um,
Appreciate it, man. I
eh,
enjoy hanging out with you, talking any kind of music, rat and roll. But when I reboot the Den channel, I'm going to have you on, and we are going to do that crew episode. I think
awesome.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of those records, and we won't no spoilers right now, but
All
we'll
right.
save it.
So everyone needs to go to the Distortion Den. and subscribe to the channel. He's got a bunch of great content, some great interviews. Um, Always fun to watch the Distortion Den shows. On ours, click like, hit subscribe, leave a comment for us. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Collection.